emotionally immature parents. I'm sure one of you or all of you have one or two emotionally immature parents. Yes, and there are 4 types of emotionally immature parents. Let's go through those first. Shall we? Yes, we shall. Here are the 4 types. There's a driven parent, an emotional parent, passive parent, and a rejecting parent.
Welcome to the Secret Life Podcast. Tell me your secret. I'll tell you mine. Sometimes you have to go through the darkness to reach the light. That's what I did. After 12 years of recovery in sex and love addiction, I finally found my soulmate, myself. Please join me in my novel, Secret Life of a Hollywood Sex and Love Addict, a 4-time bestseller on Amazon. It's a brutal, honest, raw, gnarly ride, but hilarious at the same time. Check it out now on Amazon.
Welcome to Secret Life Podcast. I'm Brianne Davis-Gantt. Today I'm pulling back the curtains of all kinds of human secrets. We'll hear about what people are hiding from themselves or others. You know, those deep, dark secrets you probably want to take to your grave, or those lighter, funnier secrets that are just plain embarrassing. Join me each week as we take a deep dive into one subject matter, exploring the how, what, when, where, and why of it all. Get ready for a more focused, more revealing journey of the human experience. This is Secret Life, and I'm excited for you to join the ride. Today, we are talking about, dun dun dun, emotionally immature parents. I'm sure one of you or all of you have one or two emotionally immature parents. Yes, and there are 4 types of emotionally immature parents. Let's go through those first. Shall we? Yes, we shall. Here are the 4 types. There's a driven parent, an emotional parent, a passive parent, and a rejecting parent. So let's do emotional first. Emotional parent, here are their characteristics. They swing between overly involved and abruptly withdrawn. I have had one of those parents. They prone to instability and unpredictability. They see other people as either rescuers or abandoners. And they often see small upsets as the end of the world. They are very emotional. Here are driven parents. They tend to look at the most normal to others. They look normal. Oh, they're just driven. They often appear exceptionally invested in their child's life. They expect everyone to want and value the same things as they do. They are perfectionists. This includes trying to be perfect for other people and look perfect. They are compulsively goal-oriented and often very, very busy. They make everybody busy. Their household is busy. Busy, busy, busy. Book everything, schedule everything, work-driven, those kind of parents. The rejecting parent, consistently issuing commands, blow-ups, isolating themselves from family life. They rule the home. Everything revolves around them. The family tries not to upset them, like the eggshell, walking on eggshells. They mostly want to be left alone. They reject any attempt to draw them into affection or emotional interaction. And then we have the passive parent. They avoid dealing with anything that's upsetting. They don't offer their child any real limits or guides to help them navigate the world. They often take a backseat to it, their dominant mate. Probably they're with a driven parent or the emotional rejecting parent. They really allow abuse, neglect to occur by looking the other way. They look the other way. They ignore the abuse, and they may use their child to meet their own emotional needs. This is the passive parent, usually is the one that enmeshes with the children. So understanding what an emotionally immature parent is, let's just define that shit, shall we? Emotionally immature refers to the inability to manage emotions or emphasize with others, resulting in a lack of emotional support and stability. Parents should be stable. Parents should have a structure. Parents should know how to regulate themselves. Their window of tolerance should be larger than the child. And what I see a lot of when parents bring their children to me, they're like, fix my child. And I'm thinking, I need to fix you. The child is just a representation of you, your instability. Because if a child doesn't know how to regulate themselves, I then go, you don't know how to regulate yourself. You don't know how to have emotion. You don't know what you're doing, because that child is mirroring you. So that's what I see. So here are the core traits and key signs of emotionally immature that often manifest. Instability. Can't handle emotions, can't handle life on life's terms, tendency to blame others for personal problems, lacks accountability and responsibility, uses denial or avoidance as coping mechanisms, unpredictability in their emotional responses, difficult in handling stress and conflict, lacks empathy and understanding, they're self-centered. They focus on their personal needs. And like I said, there's the driven, the emotional, the passive, and the rejecting. And how does this impact the child, right? Especially an adult child. So let's go to the adult child. How does this affect them? They have low self-esteem, low self-worth. That's the father wound. So if the father is an emotionally immature parent, it's going to hit that adult child when the child's older, their self-worth. Difficult forming healthy relationships, mother wound, attachment issues, challenging regulating their own emotions. That's both. So if either parent has trouble regulating emotions, the child will. Tending unhealthy patterns of their own parenting. So I always say children are mirrors. When we have children, they'll point out our blind spots, and then we'll go, shit, we parent like our parents. And if you don't heal yourself before you have children, you will become your parent. And the beautiful thing is Mark and I waited, 10 years? 10 years, we were together 10 years before we got married. So we got married on our 10 years, and then we waited another 3 years, those 13 years together before we had Davis. So we've been together for 20 years. So we made sure our shit was clear before we brought a kid in. 13 years together. We cleaned it up. We cleaned our shit up. And then Davis came, and then it's like a whole other bag of tricks. Like, fuck. We still have shit we have to work on because he's triggering the crap out of me. Oh, there's my avoidance. There's my want to shut down. Like my mom. Sorry, mom. Here's my wanting him to tell me to love me. There's my dad. There's my enmeshment. Ooh, there's a little, don't. So it's like these little triggers, even though I worked on them for 13 years, come up when you have a kid. And I got to go, no, don't lean into it. No, that's just a mirror. That's what you learned. That was what mirrors to you. And I had the tools, so I didn't do it, even if I felt myself get triggered. So you better work on your shit before you have kids. And if you have kids now, that's okay. Now you just got to have some self-reflection, some being willing to listen to your partner or go, I don't want to turn into my parents. I don't want to be an emotionally immature parent and my child, when they're 30, want to actually disengage from me. Because right now there's a whole thing going on saying, my child no longer wants to talk to me. Your child is allowed to not talk to you. If they turn 18 and decide they don't like you as a human being, your child's allowed to go, no, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want anything to do with you. Because Davis doesn't belong to me. He's allowed to go at 18. If he doesn't like me, he's allowed to go, yeah, Brianne, I don't really like you. I'm choosing not to engage. And I have to go, that's his choice. I obviously need to check myself that my child wants nothing to do with me. That's a me problem. That's a me going, where did I go wrong? Where am I not taking accountability? Where have I not cleaned up my shit? So that's my job as a parent, to look at where have I gone wrong. And if your child chooses you not having maturity with yourself. So if anybody's listening and their children has taken time away, I would say do some self-reflection, my friend, because you were probably an immature parent. And if, like I said, you don't have kids, do your work before you have kids, or shit will blow up quicker than you imagine. All right, let's go. Impact on self-identity. How does this affect adult children? Self-perception. Oh my God. As adult children, emotionally immature parent often struggles with self-identity. One of my main questions when I work with people is, where did you lose your sense of self? And usually it's in childhood. They struggle with self-identity. They find it hard to distinguish their needs, their desires, their values, because it's imposed on them by their parents. They often are people pleasers. That's a huge one, a coping strategy. They're people pleasers. They strive to need other people's approval. They avoid conflict. They can never stand up and use their voice. So those are two main things that it affects the child. All right, look at the signs. Let's do some signs and then we'll come back. Here are the signs of emotionally immature parents. As a child or an adult child, you feel lonely with them. Your relationship is one-sided. Your parents dismiss or minimize your emotions. They relate only to you in a superficial way, like they come over and just read magazines and talk about superficial materialistic shit. You know who I'm talking about. If you're listening, you know who I'm talking to. They blame you for issues they cause. They have highly emotional reactions. They avoid vulnerability. They demand compliance. They have huge demands. First of all, they're not the child. You are, even if you're an adult. They don't respect your boundaries. They expect you to guess how they feel. Oh, that's my favorite. Like, you're a fucking mind reader. They make everything about them. Oh my God, the worst. They try to trigger you. They hold you accountable for their fucking feelings. Any parent that tries to hold their child, even an adult child, accountable for their feelings needs they need to go into a rehab or a mental facility. They need to check themselves, because no adult child or child should be held accountable for their parents' feelings. Yes, if you hurt them, but usually it's because of their actions. So if you do something or they do something and then they're like, your reaction to my action has hurt my feeling. It's like, check yourself. Look at your actions. They make their problems seem more significant than yours. They are unable to hold space for your feelings and your problems. And your parents' guilt or shame you into getting you to do what they want. I know who that one's for. Let me repeat that for the seats way up north, where you know who I'm talking to. Your parents guilt or shame you into getting you to do what they want. Anytime you feel guilt or shame to do something for your parent, especially as an adult child, that is a red light, red flag. You should not do anything that is guilt or shame. So I'm going to do and tell you what does a real emotionally mature parent look like, and how do you navigate and recover from this. So this is what a mature parent looks like. They have boundaries. They're healthy. They can share a space with you. They reflect on themselves. They respond rather than react. They are interdependent in their relationships. They find differences natural and interesting. They can self-regulate themselves. They are highly emotionally intelligent. They find internal validation. They can take care of themselves. They don't blame others or you for their problems. They don't want you to rescue them. They don't act like a child. Those are some things that mature parents do, especially in their old age. Now, how do you navigate these relationships? First of all, you reevaluate the relationship. If you're an adult child, you may need to reevaluate this relationship with your parents and set more realistic expectations about what you expect from them and what distance you may need and how often you see them, how often you talk to them, and what are your fucking new boundaries. Communication techniques. Okay? There are many books. There are tips how to communicate effectively with an emotionally immature parent. You use a lot of I statements. You stay focused on specific behaviors, avoid blaming, avoid attacking. You say, yes, that doesn't work for me. This is how I feel. These are my boundaries. Yes, no. No means no. You have to very much be blunt, to the point, no wishy-washy, and don't bend. You hold the line with emotionally immature parents. Okay, and how do you cultivate becoming an emotionally mature parent? Personal growth. If you're the immature parent, personal growth. It's time to grow. It's time to evolve. It's time to look at yourself, look at your feelings, learn how to emotionally regulate, expand your window of tolerance, seek out a community of support. Look at yourself, therapy, work on yourself, start developing healthy relationships in your life, start maturing up. Look at your relationships around you. Are they toxic? Do they bring out the worst in you? And practice self-care, okay? Self-reflection, journaling, processing emotions, feelings wheel, seeking therapy, counsel, like I said, prioritizing activities that bring out the best in you, and also stabilizing your moods, active meditation, getting out in nature, connecting to outside sources, not just being in yourself. And why don't you do some fucking community service while you're at it? Why don't you give outside of you, because you've been obviously living in a selfish place. And how do you heal and recover, right? How do you heal and recover? Self-awareness, setting boundaries, developing emotional intelligence, doing inner child work, shadow work, seeing where your shadow is, self-compassion, of course. And always, I love IFS work, internal family systems. Is this my child speaking out? Is this my teenager taking over? That's really good for emotionally immature parents because, like, say Davis says something, right? And he says something mean to me. Like, he's like, I'm just using this. I don't like your hat, he says, right? And part of me is like, well, motherfucker, no one asked you. And, like, that teenager self is like, feels threatened or, right? And I can go, oh, there's my teenager feeling like less than, or he just turned, said something mean to me. And instead of attacking back like an emotionally immature parent would do and say something back mean, I'd be like, excuse me, did I ask you to make a comment about my appearance? No one asked you. I'm good with my appearance. I don't say that about you. Please do not make that about me. Thank you, Davis. So I can hold my boundary. I can say what works for me and what doesn't work for me, but I don't attack him, right? If I ask for your opinion, then you can give it to me, but I didn't ask you if you liked my hat. Do you see how that's holding the line, but being kind about it? So long-term vision, and this is where we will wrap up because I know this is a long episode because I have met so many emotionally immature parents and could have been one myself if I didn't work on myself. Long-term visions, break the fucking cycle, break the cycle, break the cycle. That is a key theme for anything. Break the cycle, generational trauma. Don't help the future generation, your child, not become emotionally immature. Do the work. Change your parenting style. Be better. Be better than what was done to you. An emotional legacy. Improve yourself. Improve the window of tolerance. Improve your ability to stay with uncomfortable feelings and emotion without lashing out, without turning it into something else that turns into ugliness in your life and your child's life. And don't make it all about you. Don't always become self-centered and make it about you and that your child has to be there for you because, again, your child it's their own person. Their autonomy. They don't belong to you, right? You are with you and your child is with your child. They don't belong to you. So stop acting like everything revolves around you. That is my episode this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped you. I hope a whole bunch of you that asked for this episode really does the work around themselves and also sets boundaries with your own parents. I don't care how old they are. I don't care if they're in their 80s. It's time to break the cycle. Take care of yourself, take care of the generation after you, and set some boundaries with your elder and say enough is enough. And say, I love you, but I don't love this. I don't love this anymore. So thank you for listening to Secret Life Podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Send me your thoughts for more episodes and send the note to secretlifepodcast@icloud.com. Until next time.
Thanks again for listening to the show. Please subscribe, rate, share, or send me a note at secretlifepodcast.com. And if you like to check out my book, head over to secretlifenovel.com or Amazon to pick up a copy for yourself or someone you love. Thanks again. See you soon.